Suzanne Ross, my very special, producer who does these amazing events in Sedona twice a year, and they're fantastic. And there's one time I introduce, and we'll get into the whole thing that's going to happen in Sedona in September. So please.
Oh, yes. Well, I am so excited to be offering this Transcendence Retreat during the fall equinox. And as we all know, the veils between interdimensional realms are thin during the equinoxes. So I'm so delighted that our retreat falls right in that window so that we can reach out and contact our galactic families. And who better to connect with our galactic brothers and sisters than Lisa Royal Holt and Yafi. I'm so excited to have them both on the show today. And of course, Alan is the author of Making Contact, and I myself have had my own personal contact experiences. So I look forward to exploring that during the retreat and during today's show. Thank you so much, Alan.
Well, thank you. There's something, and maybe Lisa and Yafi can agree with this. When you are a contactee, you can attract these craft more because you have modified your frequencies in a sense to be in touch. Is that true, Lisa? Do you find that to be true?
I do find it to be true. The interesting thing is, though, you have to go through a process of trusting what you're receiving. Because if you're not trusting what you're receiving, then it's really hard to move into that state of consciousness where you can go to the next level with the contact work.
What do you mean by trust? Can you give me an example?
Well, actually, I'm going to give you a really fun example that Yafi will remember because she was with me. This was in 2021, I think. We were doing a contact retreat in Southern Arizona, and we were outside. It was not even during the official program. It was around sunset, maybe a little bit after sunset. And there was about a dozen of us, and we were just kind of hanging around. But we had this sense that something was happening. And there were these interesting flashes going on in the sky. So a couple of us decided to film, and we got just on an iPhone, we got our iPhones and we were filming the sky. But visually, there was nothing that our eyes could see. So I thought I was just filming a blank sky. One of the ladies behind me, which you can hear on the video, she says, "I've got chills." So she knew, or her body knew, or a part of her knew that something was happening. And yet visually, our eyes were showing us nothing. So a little bit later, we were reviewing the video. Actually, if I remember correctly, it might have been Yafi that reminded me, that asked me, "Hey, did you check that video you took?" And I said, "No, I didn't," because I assumed there's nothing on it. So I checked the video and was stunned to find out that clear as day in the video, there was what looked like a triangular ship with some lights that was really close to us, because I was not zooming with an iPhone. And when you're shooting the sky with the iPhone, the moon looks like 3 times as far away. So this ship was obviously right over us and silent. We could not see it with our eyes, but yet the whatever spectrum, more so I think in the infrared spectrum the iPhones shoot, was able to pick it up. And it was a big lesson in trusting your intuition in these types of circumstances.
Wow. Yeah, Yafi, what was your experience of that moment, of those days?
So that was really interesting. So we saw these flashes in the sky, and the idea was really to capture those flashes. That was the purpose of those videos. And as Lisa said, she was aiming the phone. We couldn't see anything. We couldn't hear anything. So our conscious senses had nothing to grasp on. Just know that something unusual was happening and to pay attention. What's interesting is that there whoever they are, their consciousness is so much more expanded than ours. They were able to detect that we're there making contact. They were able to detect that Lisa was our teacher, our guide, our leader for that moment. So they appeared in her phone. When Lisa, because we didn't see it, even while taking the video, could not see it appear. Lisa just then moved her phone. They, realizing it, jumped the ship, which then moved to our video guy, Al, and jumped to his phone, which was pointing in a different direction. So the ship went way far in the distance to appear in the other person's phone, in the other person who was holding up the phone. So there was this awareness of us, of who is whom, of what we're doing. There are all these extra awarenesses that we are just beginning to understand what it means to have this expanded consciousness. And the following day, Lisa almost deleted the video. I don't know if you remember that, Lisa. You were just about to, oh, there's nothing there. You were just about to delete the video. And then it was like, oh, what is this?
I remember you told me, no, don't delete it. Just look at it first. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wow, that is really great teamwork. That is great. So Suzanne, talk about what's going to happen with Lisa and everyone in Sedona as we go out into the field for the CE5.
So here in Sedona, I'm friends with a gal named Sheila Nyes, and Sheila has been offering UFO guided tours for many years here. And she has a special place out in Cultural Park that's designated for her and her groups that she takes out. So she's very connected. She's beautiful, wonderful soul. Very excited that she's joining us and guiding us into her special place. Her and Lisa are going to get together in a couple weeks and coordinate everything. But during our event on Saturday evening, we're all going to go out there. Whoever signed up for the CE5 experience gets to join us, and we'll all go out there and engage in this CE5 process that Lisa has actually downloaded from one of her guides. So maybe this is a good time for Lisa to actually describe how that unfolds.
Yes, I'd love to hear that, Lisa, please.
Well, I can't say that there is one magic button that you can push. My processes have evolved over the last almost 40 years of doing this kind of work. And I think the processes have evolved also because I've evolved in my understanding as well. So I can't tell you exactly how we're going to do it because they're going to download to me that night what processes to use. And it will always depend on the group that is present. But it will be, of course, connected with meditation and maybe a specific type of meditation that I'm guided to lead. Sometimes we have sound bath playing and things to help with the settling down of our consciousness so that we can move more into that common ground consciousness or the one consciousness that connects us all. But the really cool thing about September, and Suzanne can correct me, but I think this year, compared to other years, we're going to be allowed to have more people. So, yeah, I think that's also kind of an intense way of building a field. So I don't know what's going to happen, but all I can say is in the 40 years I've been doing this work, it's been a wild ride, and expect the unexpected.
Well, that's always exciting for me. But, it's the field that's also increased because we're in the sacred land of Sedona with the red rocks and the electromagnetic fields. And we have a lot of ET contactees in the group there. And it's the fall equinox. So these are all energetics that come together. And we can't promise anything, but yes, there'll be fireworks. Yes, I think so.
Yes, and all these people that are coming together, there's so many people with the right, like they're coming from their hearts and with their passion and enthusiasm and wanting to connect, with fear down, heart open, curiosity open. And there's so many of us that together we form such a strong bridge and link that can then make contact happen more easily.
And just so people know, these are friendly contacts. These are beings that want to meet us. I mean, some people say, oh, yeah, but get over it. Come on. We're in a base of Einstein's great question was, is the universe a friendly place? So if you think it's not friendly, that's the kind of thing you're going to manifest. I think it's a fantastic place. I mean, most people are nice. I'd say most ETs are nice, most interdimensionals. You can't get to be an interdimensional unless you're, I mean, nice is not a very descriptive word. Right, Suzanne? You've had experiences, so you can talk about.
I have, and I've talked about them on Coast to Coast and on stage at many events. My own missing time experience here in Sedona, that during a hypnotic regression with Laurie McDonald, well-known hypnotic regressionist, it was shown to me how when two friends and I were on my back deck right here near Montezuma's Well, one of the most powerful portals in Sedona, we were visited by the Arcturians, and we actually lost 4 hours of time during that experience. And after that, my psychic awareness expanded significantly, and I developed the ability to see, feel, hear, experience interdimensionally, and became aware of my own Arcturian starseed connections and origins. So it was a very wonderful visit in that I seem to have been downloaded with special gifts, skills, and abilities that allows me to serve at a higher level. And I think that's a really important point that I'm sure Alan, you, Yafi, Lisa, we can all relate to, is what happens during these experiences is to enhance our abilities to not just communicate with our ET brothers and sisters, but to serve humanity at a higher level during this time.
Right. That might be why you're doing the conferences, Suzanne, because you were activated to do it. Lisa, you were going to say something. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, what I was going to say is also we have to keep in mind, going back to this thing about the negative and all of that, at least in my pod, let's say, and how I've been working the last almost 40 years with this, is that I'm working with a specific group that is preparing us over time. So we're basically meeting and working with the same energies, except when there's people in the groups, they bring their own contacts too. But it's more of a preparation idea. It's not like random ETs flying in. Oh, what's going on there? Let's see if we can disrupt it. It's nothing like that. This is very much of a prepared and a processed experience where we are learning and growing together over the decades.
Evolutionary impulse, right? It's guiding
that's great.
us on
and that's
our
a perfect
journey.
And also that's a perfect introduction to our next speaker here, Vincent Genna. Do you know Vincent's work? Vincent, thanks for coming.
Vincent.
Oh, it's great to be here. Good to see you. I'm actually sorry that I'm late. I've been dealing with some health problems, and believe it or not, I was sleeping.
Oh, okay. I thought you were in
Yes.
I thought you were in Las Vegas with that outfit. So
I know, really, no. I've got it. If you can't feel good on the inside, you got to make your outside look good. You know what I mean? And catch it up. So I'm trying to catch up my inside with my outside. So I hope everybody is doing well. Good to see you. And sorry, I'm late.
No, it's okay. You came at the perfect time because Lisa was just talking about the pod of beings she's connected with, and they're very upbeat, positive. So I know you bring that, and you'll be in Sedona with us on this Transcendence Retreat. So how do you connect with those beings that really want to lift us up? I guess that's my question, that are really here for transcendence.
And they've been doing a lot of that lately, is they telepathically just communicate with me. Just like I get psychic senses when I'm doing readings for my clients, I will be just sitting there or having dinner or relaxing and watching one of my favorite TV shows. And all of a sudden I'll hear a message and I'm like, hello? And it's like, I always have to make sure that it's not my own inner ear ringing and stuff like that. And I go, wait a minute, is this you? It's like, it's not even a formal communication like, hi, we're here, or a doorbell rings or something like that. Give me something, right? No, they just start talking with me. And so I'm getting, especially at this time period, with what's going on the planet, they are, believe it or not, just as concerned as we are down here. They are concerned for us up there, which I love, because I feel their compassion and I feel their caring. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you shouldn't be so advanced. You'd be able to communicate with us better. But they are so advanced, and they're waiting for us to, come on, you got to catch up. You got to catch up so we can have great conversation here.
Yeah. I was going to ask about that because, as above, so below. So we are going through, it feels like a portal where we're being squeezed. We don't quite fit through that portal. We're squeezed into that portal. So something's happening. I want to ask everyone here, what's going on? Why is it? I mean, it's always intense, right? And if you're in Sedona or somewhere, it's even more intense. But now it's even the next level of intensity. So Yafa, and then we'll go, what's going on? And we'll Vince, Yafi.
Yeah, so just like you said, everything is changing. Everything is in flux right now. And as a result, we're feeling this pressure, this tightening, the tension is coming up. Also, anything that was hidden, anything that needs to come up to the surface is all coming up to the surface. There's no more avoidance possible. We need to deal with everything. We need to heal everything. We need to see everything. That's how we heal it, by seeing it and by holding our own space of love without being compromised. And that is what we're experiencing. So everything is accelerating. Everything is changing and squeezing, and we're going to pop up on the other side, which is already happening. And different people are having different experiences of where we are in this process. But that is what we're experiencing. That is why it's so intense. And also, as with any uncertainty, there is a lot of things in the air, a lot of uncertainty. With any change, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of things in the air, a lot of unknown. And it can be quite uncomfortable to have so much unknown and uncertainty and influx.
Yes. So Lisa, what can we know about the unknown? No, whatever you want to say.
Well, we have to keep in mind that our natural state of being is balance. Our natural state of being is the consciousness of the one. So we've taken on this personality or this reality of separation, we're growing through it. But if our natural state of being is balance, think of it like the sun, right? The sun is always there, but some days there's cloudy days. So we've been experiencing more of the obstacles that stop us from seeing our true selves. The obstacles being the things we put on ourselves, the unhealed things, as Yafi was saying, all the shadow things that we haven't wanted to see about ourselves are coming to the surface because of the accelerating energy. But the thing to remember is, because we are already in our balanced state, that all the stuff coming to the surface is coming to the surface to clear us. And as the frequencies accelerate, that clearing, unfortunately, feels like it's squeezing and pushing and pulling as all of this stuff comes to the surface. So we have a lot to look forward to, but it's a little bit of a bumpy ride right now.
Right. Yeah.
Go
ahead, Vincent. Tell us what
I love this.
First please.
Of all, I love you guys. Nice meeting the both of you. And I love how you put everything so politically correct. However, I'm a New Yorker. And I'm the one that tells it like it is. We are going through hell because we created hell. We are not going through any process whatsoever. We have to cause that process. We're the ones that can fix what we have created now. And quite honestly, it's a whole bunch of shit because we've forgotten who we are as divine, magnificent beings. So I don't want to take away anything that anybody is saying. There is a process that's necessary, but what I don't want people to walk away with is, oh, we're in that process. That's good. Oh, we're going to get better now. No, we're not. Not unless we cause the process. Not unless we make the process. It cannot and will not ever happen by itself or naturally. Otherwise, we lose learning who we are as the co-creators. So we created the crap. We got to create the way out. Now, here's the thing. With all us luminaries, there is such incredible information on how to do that. There is wonderful insight. There is a knowledge out there that it's going everywhere. And like Yafi, what you were saying, there are some people picking it up, but that is by their choice. It's not by the universal choice or any help whatsoever. You don't get to know who you are until you stand from your own falls, right? Then you get to really understand who you are as this power, this source, this being, this connection to this other power and source. And so many people are praying to God, praying to God, praying to God. And do you know what God is saying? I can't do anything. I already gave you everything that you can do with. It's just like, I could give you some guidance, keep going, keep believing in yourself. But we've gotten so bad, that's what we're being squeezed in. And actually, what the council, as well as my higher self, has been telling us that we're going through, we're actually not exploding, we're imploding. Because we've incarnated on this planet too many times. And when you take power and you keep compressing it to a limited state, which this earth is, it's limited for a reason. You know, one of the ways you get to experience your unlimitedness is by experiencing your limitedness, right? And so when you start learning how you can manifest and, oh, wow, I can manifest anything I want. I really am unlimited. That's where the growth is, right? But you keep compressing it just like the atom bomb. That power is going to explode. And what you see happening on the earth today is implosions. And implosions are coming out on others. Yeah, Jafi's right. Everything had to come to the surface. It is being brought to the surface because we're good hiders. We have incredible defense mechanisms that will shut away anything that makes us feel uncomfortable. And it actually is less uncomfortable to blame something else than to blame ourselves, right? And so what we're starting to realize, and this is where this consciousness, this higher consciousness is coming to the surface, is, oh my gosh, we caused this. You know, it's really funny. Michael Beckwith, as well as so many other spiritual teachers, talked about 4 stages of consciousness. And I love the stages. The first stage when we first come here is the to me consciousness, like the victimization attitude, that everything that's going on this planet is happening to me. The second stage, as we develop a little bit more and come back a little bit more, is the for me consciousness. We heard that actually during the coronavirus, and everybody had to go get locked down. Some people were saying, well, this is happening for us. But that's only the second level of consciousness. The third level of consciousness is through me. The idea that, oh, God works through me, the universe works through me, energy works through me. And that's a better understanding than a for me, because that gives you a little bit more control there as the through me. But the highest level that we are attempting to get to is the as me consciousness. Everything is me. The virus is me. Peace is me. Love is me. God is me. Healing is me. Sorrow is me. It's as me. We are everything. And that's what we're really trying to strive for. And that is the highest consciousness at all, because so many people are stuck in the to me attitude. And that's
Right.
why you get the defensiveness that is happening on the earth today is to me. I got to protect myself. Otherwise, you're going to hurt me. Right? Attitude. We, on the other hand, know how to get to that higher consciousness. And I think that's our greatest role. But we don't want to undermine the role by making it sound so peachy creamy. Because
Right.
we
No,
don't
that's
do
really
that.
good. Vincent, that's great advice and that's practical. And Lisa, you talked to me last time we interviewed about the little bumps that come up in our path. And how do you deal with that? Because, you know, there are intense times, personally, globally, politically, everything. Yeah, as me, of course. But how do you gave me some good advice
Yeah,
last
how do you
time.
get through that?
Well, I don't remember what I said to you last time, but Vincent, I'm originally an East Coaster also. So Boston area.
Okay, that's
But
good. Yeah, that's good.
But so I appreciate the way that you expressed it, because I've lost my East Coast edge, so to speak. But I've been out west too long. But I agree with everything Vincent said about this idea that we created this. We created it through, as you've said, our own unwillingness to look at everything as us. So to answer Alan's question about how I deal with it, I guess that was the question. It's a lot of basically what Vincent said, this idea that we have to look at everything as a reflection of us. And sometimes it's not necessarily a direct reflection. You have to go within really and feel where the truth is for what the message is. But if we can begin, or I try to begin, to see everything outside of me that triggers me or anything that I'm challenged by as something I need to see within myself, because it is another version of me. So that has helped a lot, though I understand maybe that's difficult for a lot of people to do.
I've
It
always
is.
liked
You're
this.
muted.
I've always liked the statement that is, we are the ones we've been waiting for, right? And that's always resonated so profoundly with me. Of course, we're the ones that we've been waiting for. But the reason that we enjoy receiving, downloading, connecting with our galactic brothers and sisters is because they're there to offer support and guidance, even as Vincent was referring to, the celestial, the divine, the connection with God, and that God is experiencing through us as us, right? And that's so empowering to really step into that fully. But we can always, you know, reach out for guidance and then here, boots on the ground, do what we need to do to inspire, enlighten, empower humanity to raise up to the next higher level of consciousness.
Right. Like for you, Yafi, I know you work with people too to get them to a higher place. How do you deal with the intensity and with your clients? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are having a hard time. But I think there are different layers to it, of course, and there are different answers and different aspects. But one thing, for example, is not to drown in the news, in what's going on in your environment, what's going on outside. It's very easy to get too stressed out and to drown in it. And just as Lisa mentioned, the answer is always to look inward. The answer is always to take a step back from all this madness and check in with yourself. Be with the here and now, which includes a lot of things. So one thing it includes is being able to tolerate unpleasant emotions and unpleasant situations. So we're talking about not being able to avoid anymore, shouldn't avoid anymore. We can't avoid anymore. That means that we have to be able to stretch out our tolerance to be able to tolerate different, again, experiences, different emotions, different people. And it all goes on within. At the same time, which is being present, being in the moment, also have a part of yourself reminding of the bigger picture. And again, not the bigger picture out there, the bigger picture in here. Your own connectedness, your own indestructibility, your own state of balance and giving and loving to the world.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think another level of this is that somehow it's gotten a little more interesting. You know, we have the human drama, the families, the interpersonal stuff, and we have this infusion of ET consciousness that is this whole other thing. And so we're at this, like, I wouldn't call it a crisis point, I would call it a turning point. It could either be a breakdown or a breakthrough. I think we're breaking through to this other level where, yes, we'll still have the human dramas and like who's going to be president, when is disclosure going to happen, and all these current events. And there's the inner event of soul evolution that we're on the edge of as we embrace these fifth dimensional beingness. So it's like a whole other added layer of intensity, and I just say excitement. This is a really exciting time. What were you going to say?
It is an exciting time period, but what's really interesting about that, Alan, that I find so interesting, before we even knew of New Age and New Thought, we just believed what we saw, and we were very superstitious beings, and we created all our religions. So the way you're discussing about discovering our ET brothers and sisters is almost the exact same way that we discovered other aspects of ourselves. It's just a natural part of our family. It's like, okay, so these people we haven't spoken to, but then again, I have relatives in Sicily I've never met in my life. You know, so to me, they're ETs, you know, and they're the exact same thing.
Well, I don't think they're exact same thing, because I mean, not to like just to debate, because no, I'll tell you what I mean. Something else had. I'm just saying, Vincent, and you can agree or not agree. It's okay to disagree, but something else has to come online within the human psyche that allows us to meet not our family in Sicily, but our family on the Pleiades or something.
No, I understand that, but that's called openness. You know, because before, when somebody was telling me I had family there, I could sit there and go, no, I don't. I've never met them before. I have no idea who they are. But what we're doing, which I feel is a detriment, is we're making them more abnormal than normal. And it keeps mainstream them from embracing the idea that, wait a minute, they're not the movies that Steven Spielberg and all the other people have created about spiders coming and eating your head, okay? They're just more advanced than us. Then yes, they do have different bodies than we do, you know? Right now I'm watching the Olympics and I see a whole bunch of guys that have different bodies than me. And so I totally get the concept of advancement. And so we want to accept them as part of this world of existence, because they're physical too. And that's how I see them. I see them. And I think that's one of the reasons why they came to me. We should be in awe. Oh, my goodness. Thank goodness you're coming to help us. Oh, my gosh. Thank goodness. And that's what I saw, like I loved at Contact in the Desert and what we're doing, right? We're normalizing their existence. We're normalizing it. But yes, in order to understand our own unlimited ability, we have to have a higher consciousness before we can even go there. But we're so stuck on accepting colors on this planet, which is why it's so important. That's not human drama. That's our soulful drama. And so that is soul advancement, because we have souls inside of us that chatter and talk to us. And there could be some elementary school souls here as well as the doctoral souls trying to help us along the way, right? And so we're learning how to accept ourselves as divine beings. That's everybody, including them. And I know it definitely is exciting because it's coming into our realm more, but I don't want to make it so mystical anymore that people are sitting there going, oh, that's all woo-woo stuff. It's not woo-woo stuff. It's reality stuff.
I know we know it's reality, but I want to get Lisa in on this because it's not like it's, I wouldn't say normal. It's ordinary and extraordinary. And I think we're extraordinary. So
Yes.
the situation's extraordinary, and we have to remember that. Lisa, what do you have to say?
Well, I too have unknown relatives in Sicily, so
we may be related.
we may be related. I don't know. But I really like what you said about normalizing this, because one of the gifts that I've received is being in this field with ETs since the 80s. So we're talking 40 years now. So I've been able to see the progression. So in the 80s, in the 90s, and I would say even in the 00s, it was not normalized. It was still, the drama of they took me out of my bed and, all that kind of stuff. And the good thing, though, now is that I've really seen is that at least with the groups I've been working with, it is starting to normalize. And it's very slowly starting to enter the consciousness of humans, even people that don't deal with this on a daily basis. It's getting to the point where this normalization allows us to become so accustomed to this idea that when it happens, it'll be like, oh yeah, of course. And from what I've been told by, my guys up there in terms of their contact programs and how they work with planets like ours, this normalization process is one of the necessary steps before open contact, so that there isn't such a huge difference in the paradigm structure as contact happens. So what you said about that is really, really important.
Well, I do think that we might have a rude awakening for some people who are not ready.
It's a rude awakening, to say the least, Alan.
Yes, yeah. Yafi, what do you say about this moment? And I'll talk to Suzanne. What do you say about this?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned before, different people are having different experience of reality, right? So some of us are already contactees and we're already in this world. And even for us, even if we don't think so, it would have been a shock, physically, mentally, if they just showed up. And that's us, and we're so ready and we're actively involved in this work. So of course, there are different sects of the population that are going to react completely differently. And for some, it's going to be such a shock, it doesn't fit anywhere in their paradigm. It's complete woo-woo, complete unrealistic, unbelievable. And guess what? It's real and it's here, and everybody is going to know about it. This is what's happening right now. It's being revealed in layers. And my guides are saying that I've been having a lot of sightings, physical sightings lately, but they're relatively subtle. I mean, a sphere, but relatively subtle. And one of the messages that I'm getting about it, that it's supposed to be subtle. One of the lessons that we're learning is expanding our own perception, opening up. So a part of this is these layers that are being unveiled to us. But like I said, even these layers, even the smallest change can be a huge shock depending on what's your starting point. So for some people, oh yeah, this is a wild ride and it's just going to get wilder.
Well, I want to talk to Suzanne, who's writing this book, Waking Up, and she is an expert. She studied this, and this is really her passion. That's why she does these events. So, Suzanne, please jump in here, because this is your.
Thank you, Alan. Well, I've just been thinking about the tremendous impact that all the channeled material has had on my life. And I want to get to Lisa because I know she's kind of waving her hand. She's been doing this for 40 years and she's been writing these incredible books, Prism of Lyra. She has their galactic cards. It's people like Lisa and Bashar, Darryl Anka channeling Bashar. Also, this material that I've been really involved with, of course, J.J. Hurtak, Dr. J.J. Hurtak, a big fan of his books. I have his books, The Keys of Enoch, and all of the other keys, as well as the Pistis Sophia. So the people who have been channeling and sharing this channeled material for decades are the ones who have been transmitting the messages that have been coming through our galactic brothers and sisters for many, many years, for decades. It's advanced, sophisticated knowledge. I'm also a big fan of the Urantia book. In my book, Rise Up, which is an adventure to sacred sites around the world, exploring the cosmologies of ancient and modern civilizations who've been telling us about their sky gods, the star people who visited them in the ancient past and continue to visit them today, transmitting advanced teachings, metaphysical practices. We can think of the Egyptians, the Mayans, and even the Dogons, and we visit all of those civilizations in my book. And a large part of my book is sharing transmissions from the book, the Urantia book, which I'm sure those in this call are familiar with, and some of you out there may be. But it was a couple who discovered this man bringing through all of this advanced, sophisticated knowledge about the universe, about creation, how creation came into being, about the life of Jesus, and about our planet Urantia. And I find it so incredibly fascinating. I'm now reading a book called The Book of Knowledge, and it's the Bilgi Kitabi. And it's a gal in Turkey, in Ataturk, Turkey, whose name is Mavlana, and she's channeling the Alpha channel. And again, this is a really fat book, but all of these transmissions she's bringing through multiple groups from different star systems, the solar hierarchy. She's revealing in her book this accelerated evolution plan. And she says the solar hierarchy has put us on this accelerated evolution plan in light of what's happening on our planet, to give those who are seeking a higher way of living and being an accelerated opportunity to evolve exponentially through the material that they're sharing. So I know for myself that I've gone through periods of channeling as well and brought through quite a bit of channeled information in my books. And I'm writing my third book, Lighten Up, now. And so just recognizing they're coming through people on the planet with channeled transmissions that are accelerating our evolutionary progress.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, Lisa, thank you, Suzanne. Lisa, yeah.
Well, I just want to jump onto what Yafi was saying and also integrate it with what Vincent was saying about normalization, because circling back to the very beginning of this call before Vincent came on, we were talking about the experience that Yafi and I had at one of my retreats a couple of years ago, where we took a picture of the craft that was so close to us, but we couldn't see, hear it, or sense it other than with our inner senses. And the idea that Yafi brought up about how the contacts, the physical version of contact, or the physical manifestation, or you might call it evidence, although I don't like that term, at least in my work, has been coming more rapidly in the last, I'd say, the few years before COVID. And I feel that is part of the normalization, because my degree is in psychology. I love watching and learning about how the human mind responds to new paradigms. And so when we get exposed to something like a photograph, this has happened to me several times, a photograph of an ET or a craft, and I'm right there, either taking it or standing next to it, and yet not perceiving anything, the consciousness, the human consciousness, the ego, goes through a type of recalibration, let's say, to let in the reality, the new reality that is presented to it on the physical level. So those subtle physical contacts that are becoming more and more numerous, I think, are part of that normalization that will allow us to integrate this knowledge of the extraterrestrial presence into our daily lives.
That's
But
perfect.
they said, yeah.
I've been thinking about that too. That's why I call my program New Realities, for exactly that reason. When we're confronted with something we can't recognize, we have to put together new neural nets of awareness so we can cognize the new reality to then integrate it and maybe share with others that they can recognize what we've actually picked out of the void, out of the unknown to make it known.
Right.
So Vincent, you were saying something.
Yeah, what I was
Yeah.
going to say, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to jump off soon. But what I did want to say, which is really interesting, is there is nothing that we don't know. When we were created and created in its image, what that meant was that everything that was in its reality was superimposed into us. That's why we are created in its image. However, the whole reason why we're even here in this physical existence is to experience what we know, because you don't really own anything until you get to experience it. Then you can know what you know. That's how Edgar Cayce put it, a matter of fact. I loved his work, and the way he had expressed that is to know it. So the interesting thing is we already know about our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters. We already know about different universes and paradigms. It just, everything is becoming such a shock to so many people because of how much they've forgotten about themselves as individuals. Because when that council started talking with me, I thought it made all sense in the world that they would talk to me and communicate with me. I always had an interest in them way back when the book Communion was written, right? I was watching all of those extraterrestrial movies, but the good ones, or some of the good ones, whatever the good ones were, like, you know, Close Encounters, I loved that. Cocoon, oh my gosh, I loved that, right? And, but I understand now why I appreciated them, because it was already in me. So it wasn't a shock. Here's the problem that we all have to deal with. It isn't just a matter of introducing them. That's what my entire work is going to be at the Sedona Ascension Retreat. You have to be reintroduced to yourself. You have to get to know who you are before you get to know who your brother and sister is. Because if you don't have a slight understanding of your own metaphysicalness, you're more than just being a physical being, then you're not going to accept anything that's out there. And it's always going to be a shock, and it's always going to be a doubt, and it's always going to be this is woo-woo stuff. But most people that are now faced with this in a shocking way and in a frightening way are even frightened about themselves. They don't even know who they are. And I love, Lisa, that you said that you're in psychology. I did go back and get my degrees in psychology and master's in clinical social work. Since I got in the mind as a psychic, I wanted to make sure I wasn't messing everybody up except myself. And so when people are so, you know, again, Alan, we were at Contact in the Desert. Those people there were excited because there was a knowing in them already. Something was waking up inside of them. And so they already had an understanding of who they were, whether no matter what spiritual journey they had been on. So now when you're introducing this new information, they're accepting it in a very positive way. Those that wind up accepting it in a very negative way, in a fearful way, again, have inner work to do. And that's why, and Rafi, that's what you were talking about. That's why I wrote my book, that helps you bring to the surface, because we do have protective mind. Lisa will know this as in psychology with me, that we have a defensive mind that will shield us from those inner beliefs that we are hurt by, that do need to come to the surface, that we do need to face, so we can change our true core beliefs about ourselves. And that's why my programs are always twofold, is introducing you to your own reality of who you are. That's what I'm going to be teaching. And then being able to use that to open up the channel to all that enlightenment and the world beyond this physical world, and that internal world, going inside and really opening it up. So I'm excited about being able to be there. I'm sorry I have to run. You are all so incredible people. And even though I just met you now, you know we've been brothers and sisters for a long time, forever. I hope you're not tired of me and my New York Italian ways. But we'll make a good pasta meal together and sit down, because that's what Italians and everybody do. You got to sit down to a pasta meal. So we'll do that in Arizona. I'm so excited about this. And Alan and Suzanne for being able to bring this. I hope, and I'm not saying this in a way to demean you, what you know already. I hope you will truly appreciate who you are as lighthouses. You are putting light out there into the universe, and that's what we need more now than ever before. So I thank you, and I thank you for including me in on that, and these wonderful people. I can't wait to meet you in person. Yafi, those wings probably follow you wherever you go. Behind you. And Lisa, I know they're in, your heart is fluttering like crazy. And Suzanne, the heart's not ever inside of you. It's always on your sleeve, sharing with everybody else. So I know that's who you are. So it's wonderful to see you all. And
Thank you.
Again.
Thank you.
Okay?
Bless you. Thank
Love
you.
to you all.
Thank
Bye-bye
you,
now.
Vincent,
Bye-bye.
Genna, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be spreading his wisdom in Sedona, September 19th to 21st, right, Suzanne?
That's right.
And, you know, Lisa and Yafi are these channels, and Vincent's more of a psychic. Just talk about the framing of the conference, because it's such an interesting grouping of people that are talking about these.
Thank you for asking that. I felt really inspired to bring together psychics, mediums, and channelers. Of course, I've had channelers at many events in the past, because as I was saying a few moments ago, I really feel like channeling is a powerful way for us to connect with our galactic brothers and sisters. And I like the idea that Lisa and Vincent were talking about, and even Yafi, the normalization, because I know for me, like when I read Lisa's books, I feel connected to Sasha, and Sasha feels to me like a friend. And when I listen to the Seth material, now suddenly Seth feels like a friend, a brother, a sister, right? And so I love the channeling. And then the psychics. And many of us are realizing through psychic readings, the ability for us as humans to open our awareness, expand our consciousness so that we can tap into other fields of awareness. We can retrieve from the field information, insight, stories, even the records, Akashic records. And then I bought in mediums as something kind of new and different. But again, it's just communicating with the soul. And I really like to reinforce, and we did this in March, Alan, at my Sedona Ascension Retreat with Anita Morjani and some near-death experiencers, this idea that the soul continues, that consciousness continues, right? And so the ability to connect with our loved ones from beyond just reinforces that idea about the soul. And I really like what Darryl Anka said at our March event. The body doesn't have a soul. The soul has a body, right?
Yes.
And so the soul is far more expansive than enclosed within this one physical vessel, right? And I guess that's the other, part of this is the multidimensionality and the recognition that, we can expand into all of who we are being in multiple timelines, multiple dimensions. I just want to say, Alan, now can we shine a spotlight on you? Because Alan has confirmed that he's going to come to our event. He's going to offer a presentation and a remote viewing workshop. I love this. Alan co-hosts with me and I love it.
Thank you, Suzanne. I couldn't resist when I realized who's going to be there and the energy that we were building for this event, doing all these interviews, panels, that this is a rare opportunity for like-minded people to gather. And we do this in March, but this particular group at this particular time in history, I think it's going to be special. I mean, Ann Tucker too wasn't it? Do you know who she is, Yafi and Lisa? Ann is talking to the angels. She has some amazing predictions about, I think she said, solar flares that are going to really wake us up and announce sort of the arrival of these ET beings. That's one person's, I mean, everyone here, I mean, just having these discussions, because there's not like we have to agree on all. We all have our own perspectives, and that's what makes this moment in spiritual evolution interesting, because it's not a religion. It's an experience that each of us have, and we're comparing notes about what's worked for us. What do we think? What do we know? How do we see it? And something new is evolving. Something new is happening on planet Earth, and not to make us special, but we're not the only ones new, but it's like this real fresh start of these dimensional realities as they shift into awareness, are definitely waking up new neural nets in the human to see new realities. And that's why I'm coming. That's why we're there. That's why we're doing the C5. That's why our guests are here, because, and then I'm going to, back to your question, I'm going to teach remote viewing because I've been doing that online a lot. I've been doing it with Zinka in Sedona. You know Zinka Carroll? She has a light net. Actually, she was just telling me, Lisa, she's reading your book and she had some incredible breakthroughs reading your book. So I want you to meet her. And I think preparation for her ET contact, that book. And
Yes.
And so when you develop the idea that your senses are not local, that your mind is not local to your brain, but it's like we have this internet in our mindset that can tap into the field, and that we can know everything about anything, anytime. That is evidence for me of our extraordinary infinite nature. And people are doing it in these classes. There's a target. Maybe I'll give them a number. They tune in. They set their intent. And that's what we're going to be doing at the Transcendence Retreats. I said, there's a target. They set their intent. That's all you have to do, is intend it and clear your mind and let the infinite nature of consciousness access what this target is. And it's miraculous. And people, I say, I can't teach this, but you can learn this because we are all infinite. So interesting. I always make the comment, the CIA really instituted the remote viewing program at Stanford Research Institute. And somehow the CIA has opened up the infinite level of the human being to everyone. I think that's a little ironic when they've been mostly here to shut it down. But so I'm excited about the fact that anyone has access to infinite knowledge. And we've known that, but this is a practical application that we'll be doing, that I'll be teaching at the Transcendence Retreat. So thank you, Suzanne, for that little plug. So if people want to sign up, thank you, for either of the workshops, Yafi or Lisa or the CE5, what should they do?
All right, let's pull up this flyer here, Sedona Transcendence Retreat.com. Just visit our website and you'll see the different tabs. You can click on presenters, workshops, outdoor journeys. You can click on the CE5 experience. If you'd like to vend at the event, you can click on vendor. So we have all kinds of opportunities, different ways you can participate. I love the outdoor journeys, and Lisa and Yafi will be offering outdoor journeys, and Lisa is going to be taking people into Peace Park near Thunder Mountain. And maybe Lisa would like to take a moment to share about her outdoor journey, and then Yafi.
Yes.
Okay, I have some notes here. Excuse me, because I have so many events coming up that I am not keeping them straight. So the outdoor journey is called Contact and Consciousness, Opening to Contact in Sedona's Energy Portal. So we've already talked about how the energy in Sedona really magnifies the contact experience, whether that is contact experience within us or a contact experience that manifests in the sky or in some other place. During the outdoor journey, we are going to access some of this energy that is native to Sedona to help boost our ability to open and sense and connect with the non-local aspects of our consciousness. And I see the outdoor journey actually as connected to the CE5. So all of my events during the retreat are connected to building the energy so that we can have a deep contact experience that isn't candy for our minds or egos, but is food for our soul. So that's my intention for these events.
That is beautiful. I've never heard a CE5 put that way. That is really, really beautiful. Right. And thank you. And Yafi, what are you going to be doing at the retreat?
Yes, so me and my group are going to go to the Tree of Life in Sedona. And very similarly, we're going to connect to all the energies in the area. So I'm going to be channeling. I'm a multidimensional channel like Lisa. So I'm going to be channeling and I'm going to be attuning the people to different elements in our environment. So maybe the vortex, a specific vortex in Sedona, maybe the Tree of Life itself, maybe a group of ETs that happen to be there and want to do some work with us. So I'm going to attune people so they can connect to different elements in our environment, and then I'm going to channel them. So again, another layer of contact, and also expanding the idea of what contact is, what people can experience, what can people contact with and make connection with.
Thank you. I so appreciate that. Of course, we have the indoor
No, this is so
workshops.
important that we. No, go ahead. I was just delayed in my.
No worries. We have the workshops that both of them will be teaching as well. And so, Yafi, since we have you here, you want to touch on your workshop?
Yeah, absolutely. The workshop is going to be really exciting. So I'm also a doctor of clinical psychology and a hypnotherapist. And in my workshop, it's going to be very experiential. So I'm going to lead the group through a hypnosis regression to connect, go inward and connect to different lives, different existences beyond this physical body. So some people may experience past lives, some people may recall parallel lives, and others may recall spiritual or ET lives. So different people are going to have different experiences of their own counterparts and different lives that they are either have lived or living in parallel. And then, of course, we're going to talk and share our experiences.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Suzanne, I know you have this vision. What would you like to see happen at these retreats? Why are you bringing people together?
I do feel like it's my soul's mission to gather like-minded souls, especially during the equinoxes. And what I have discovered over the years is that we really activate one another when we really come together. And I think Lisa referenced this earlier, like the larger number of people that would attend a CE5, when we get large groups of people together who are all participating in these mind-expanding, soul-igniting experiences, it just expands exponentially. We activate one another. We inspire and empower one another, but we also activate one another. And just making those heart-to-heart connections, those soul connections is so heartwarming, connecting with others and the community of spiritual people. So everybody goes away feeling uplifted, elevated. I get so many hugs from everyone telling me that it's really made a powerful, positive difference in their life. They've met people who will become their friends. So yeah, I love it. I love doing it, Alan. And I always love your support and the amazing people like Lisa and Yafi who say yes to coming. And I just invite everyone, come one, come all, to this beautiful, intimate spiritual experience in the spiraling vortex of Sedona.
Well, thank you, Susanna. I feel honored to be part of this and work with you. And, just the kind of discussions we had here today, I think it's important we get together as a community, as a global spiritual community, to look at these issues. I mean, I don't agree with everything Vincent says. I don't think it's all been laid out for us. I think, this is my opinion, I wish Vincent was here so we could debate, but I think the unknown is knocking at our doors and it hasn't all been discovered. And it's both. It's all been done. It's all being created. So these are the kind of moments in history that mark a change in understanding, and that's really why we come together. And people, visionaries like we have here, and yourself, Suzanne, and me, perhaps, we are seeing a incredible future awaiting us. So, thank you, thank you all today.
Amen to that.
Any final words, Lisa, Yafi, from you about anything you want coming up or we want to share?
No, I just want to thank everyone for watching, and I hope that some of the ideas that we've shared today are inspiring all of you to seek out your own connections, because, sorry, Suzanne, you don't need a conference to connect, but it sure is fun to be with everybody to do the connection. But whether you're with us or not, I hope you will all reach out for those connections on your own so that we can indeed normalize this experience.
Great. And how can people find you, Lisa?
My website, www.lisa.net. Thank you.
Great.
And on Instagram at Lisa Channelings.
Great. Lisa is one of the originals. She, with her book, The Prisons of Lyra, she opened the doorway to the origins of I think the panspermia idea, where we emanated from a source in Lyra that has now seeded this part of the galaxy, and how we're all can be connected through that original DNA dispersion and consciousness dispersion. So that's a really valuable book that everyone should look at. And Yafi, you have an incredible, go ahead, right back there. You have
No, just pointing at it.
What do you want to leave us with, Yafi?
Yes, my final words will be how exciting really the times that we're living in. That's the messages we keep on hearing from them, but it's also true for us. And a part of it is the unknown and everything that's unfolding, and conversations like we're having here today, and conferences like we're going to have in Sedona in September. And these are wonderful reminders of the excitement and the positivity and the fun that this all is, and the connection. If you get overwhelmed by anything, enjoy this heart connection that so many people are coming together. It's truly inspiring and enlightening, and I can't wait.
Great. Yes. Come to the Sedona Transcendence Retreat. Be part of the conversation.
Yes. And also, I'll mention that if you want to hear or read more about me, my website is yafichanneling.com. Yafi, Y-A-F-I, channeling.com. And I also have books, Conversations with the Earth, and I'm publishing now Conversations with Hathor, which I'm really excited about. I don't know if we'll be out by the retreat, but I'm trying.
Great. And Suzanne, anything you want to, besides the conference, which people can get their tickets at for September, a really fantastic conference. Anything else coming up you want to talk about?
Well, thank you. I'm launching my Sacred Spiritual Academy courses and resource for enlightenment and divinity. How's that for an acronym? And my new course, Interdimensional Intuitive, launches on August 12th. So just go to SuzanneRossTranscendence.com.
Great. And people can get my book, Making Contact, which is an overview of the situation. Did I send you a copy of the book? I'll bring a copy for you, Lisa, when I see you. And I'm also hosting this galactic cruise, Portal at Sea. We are going off down through the Bermuda Triangle, December 14th to 21st, down the coast of Florida into the Yucatan, look at the Mayan temples, and with a bunch of really high beings. So everyone's invited to portalatsea.com and look it up. And I will see everyone in Sedona. We'll do more of these, right, Suzanne? We're going to do more of these little talks.
Yes, I'd love to bring Jamie Price on, bring Robin Jelinek back, Kelly Palmatier. Absolutely. It looks like Alan's frozen a bit. So thanks so much to everyone for joining us on New Realities. Here he is. He's back.
Thank you. Yes.
All right.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having us, Suzanne. This has been wonderful. It's, like I said, such wonderful to have this conversation.
All right, but
It is. Thank you, guys. Thanks so much.